Are tan rialta seo tar éis cead chéine chóirtúib siad a buint bontaiste a bheith ar ghaoine ríis a ríis deile, agus níl dhéanta agah chun smacht a choráthú, níl dhéanta bhfuil chun stop a chuir leis an good price-na a airdú agus a airdú agus a airdú a ríis deile. Agus muid leis an níreitne inse, níl na creidmhaint sé fóniuh rial mar réite, níú siad dhéal mar réite, dearú na faiba de bhíadar an aim teilú am a eil díomh, am chun smaachta eil ar an ggéirchéim seo ach níl dhéanta agah. Agus a ríiste agus a ríis deile tá Maltaí chur chun tasaí aganne agus neabhar dhéanta ar na Maltaí sinna ag an rialtas. Minister, it's open season for price gouging and profiteering. Insurance, banks, large supermarkets, energy companies all making obscene profits on the back of ordinary workers, all with the approval of government. Insurance companies are making 2 or 3 times more profits here than elsewhere. Bailed out banks are making billions and paying no tax, and we have the highest electricity prices in Europe. And still energy companies come forward and are hitting households with double-digit hikes in their bills in the coming weeks. Last week, your party leader stood where you are and said, I want people at home to know that we hear them on the cost of energy and we know all about the cost of living. He said that you would take action. The very next day, SSE Airtricity became the latest to announce massive hikes, over 10% in their electricity prices, on the foot of 4 other companies doing the same. These companies know that they've nothing to fear from Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil because you've let them rip people off again and again and again. You've done absolutely nothing to rein them in, and you've done nothing to stop them hiking their prices up and up and up. And let me be clear, energy credits were never the full answer. They were supposed to buy you time. They were supposed to allow you time to get a handle on the crisis, but you didn't do anything. At Oireachtas as Oireachtas, we gave you solutions. Powers for the energy regulator to hold energy companies to account, oversight of hedging practices to protect against price gouging, regulate standing charges, make the PSO levy and network charges fair, stop electricity companies profiteering from expensive gas. These all could have cut bills and take the pressure off ordinary working people, but instead you chose to do nothing. Instead of ending the rip-off and getting prices under control, the government is actually making things worse. Landlords are allowed to increase rents, carbon tax increases after carbon tax increases, student fees and local property tax all going up as a result of government decisions. This has all been pushed on people at the same time as they are getting hit by double-digit increases in their energy bills. And people feel like they're drowning in the cost of living crisis. We've heard minister after minister this week and last tell us what they have done about this measure and that measure, and I'm sure you will get to your feet and you will list them off all again. And I'm not taking anything away from those measures. I'm telling you about the effect. There are more people today, as we speak, behind on their bills than ever before. That is the definition, Minister, of things getting worse. So do you accept the fact that there are more people today that can't pay their electricity and gas bills than ever before? And will you do the right thing and put energy credits back on the table for this year's budget? And will you use that time to make the reforms Sinn Féin have repeatedly called on you to make sure that we end this rip-off in terms of electricity prices and get costs under control?
Thank you very much, Ceann Comhairle, Cathaoirleach. And could I also, in the spirit of Deputy Doherty raising an important issue there under a point of order, respond back to what he has said and then have the time to respond back to his question in addition to it. So I do want to agree with him that what is happening now with regard to the flotilla is a very serious matter. The Taoiseach and Tánaiste are currently in New York concluding their work at the United Nations Annual Assembly, and they have raised that matter within the European Union and with other heads of government. And I've been informed that the Tánaiste has raised this specific matter now with the High Representative for Foreign Policy, Commissioner Callas, given the urgency of what is now taking place. We are well aware of the safety risk that is posed to all in the flotilla. I understand there is a number of Oireachtas members involved in this as well, and they deserve the protection of international law and they deserve safety. I have not seen the wording of your motion, or maybe you're still developing it at the moment, so therefore I'm not in a position to be able to give a commitment to it now, but I am in a position to be able to assure you, Deputy, that you are making the point that this is a serious issue. We agree, and the government is treating it as such. All deserve the respect of international law, and we have many citizens from many countries, including some public representatives, that are trying to play their part in offering direct support to the people of Gaza, and that deserves to be recognised in the protection that they get. I'm sure you will engage with the Ceann Comhairle on the motion, and I know the government will too. In relation to the substantive issue that you have raised there in relation to the cost of living, let me open up by acknowledging the challenge that it is for many, and I absolutely accept that. If you are a household, if you are a business, we have seen changes happen over the last number of years with the cost of living. We are seeing indications that the rate of price increases have considerably slowed down. However, that isn't across our entire economy. We are seeing some parts of our economy where the rate of price increase continues to be considerable. And I also know the rate of price increases slowing down can be of cold comfort to those who have seen prices go up by so much over the last number of years. Now, I know Deputy Doherty has already dismissed what I'm about to do as reading out a list, but it's important to emphasise the degree of support that is already available, because these measures were brought forward in anticipation of the cost of living continuing to be a challenge across this year. And it's these kind of measures that the government is going to aim to build upon when myself and Minister Chambers present Budget 2026 on Tuesday week. And if you look at the measures that have been implemented across this year alone, we've seen the back to school clothing and footwear allowance, a measure that has given needed support to 221,000 children. We've seen very recently the Free School Book initiative being rolled out now to every child in primary and secondary school. We see all the efforts that go on every year with regard to reduced school transport fees. We see the progress that has been made in recent years with the availability of free GP care, now available for all children up to and including under the age of 8. We've seen the work that has happened with a reduction in the electricity PSO levy. We've seen the significant expansion of the fuel allowance, the significant expansion of the carers allowance, and we've seen in June alone of this year 138,000 carers benefit deservedly from the Carers Support Grant. And this is in addition to other measures that have been built on year by year: free public transport for children, the work that has happened in relation to childcare costs, and of course a public service pay deal that was implemented implemented again in the 1st of August, which mirrors wage growth that we are seeing happen across our economy, which is playing a role in assisting with the cost of living at a time in which, as I said, I know prices are going up. The particular issue that Deputy Doherty there raised in relation to the cost of energy, the government is very much aware of that. And much of this, though not all of it, is driven by where we are located, by the mix of energy that is used within our economy and country. And we are aware of the impact that this is having now on our society and on our competitiveness. And Minister Darragh O'Brien is completing work with regard to this to look at what are the structural changes that we may be able to introduce over time that can play a role with this. But what I've done in the answer that I've offered to the House here today, Ceann Comhairle, is outline the measures that are currently implemented, that are being rolled out, that aim to make a difference to those for whom the cost of living becomes and is such a challenge. This is what is happening. And what myself and my colleagues in government are now working on is what are the further measures that we can bring forward that will be affordable and sustainable, that will make a difference. And Deputy Doherty, I know a previous policy that Sinn Féin have had in relation to this is the introduction of an energy price cap. and you might use this as an opportunity to explain whether that's still Sinn Féin policy.
So the Minister will be well aware, last year in our alternative budget we argued that energy credits of €450 would be brought forward. The Government brought forward energy credits of €250. And he listed off measures, and I said earlier on, I'm not taking away from those measures. But what I'm telling you, Minister, is things have got worse. The reality is, regardless if you believe that you've protected people, the facts are that there are more households than ever before, over 300,000 households that can't pay their electricity bills. Regardless of what you did last year, things have got worse. The crisis has deepened, and two things are about to happen. Nearly 1 million households are going to see electricity prices go up on average by 10% in the next 2 weeks. And the second thing that's going to happen is your government, you as Minister for Finance, are going to withdraw energy credits that these households were dependent on for the last 3 years. So what I'm saying to you is, deal with the reality. The fact is that people are drowning under a cost of living crisis, that things have got worse in the last year. That's just fact. And it's about to get worse by two measures. One, the electricity companies ripping them off and gouging them again. And the second thing, your decision to cancel electricity credits in this year's budget.
Well, I gave Deputy Doherty the opportunity to confirm, or at least explain to the House, whether they were still making the case for the energy price cap, which they did in the last Dáil. I noticed you didn't answer that question.
Didn't work out so well over in Britain.
Indeed. In relation to the matters that you've just raised there, Deputy Doherty, we are well aware of the challenge that the cost of living is posing for so many. I'd make the point back to you that for every budget I have brought into this House, you've always criticised them for not spending enough. You've always criticised us for running budget surpluses. If we had taken your approach in recent years, we wouldn't have had the ability to intervene and help like the way we did in the last 2 years, let alone the ability to help again. The government, for example, will be able to make a decision in relation to the VAT on gas and electricity, which will play a role in maintaining support that is available. That is a decision we'll be considering in the context of the budget. We know it's demanding for so many at the moment, and what we want to do is bring forward measures that will be targeted and ones that we're confident that we can sustain in the time ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr.